Well, I've been in the wine business for 40 years, and I've traveled all over the world, and I've had a fantastic opportunity to taste, in addition to great beers and great wine, some amazing spirits. And whiskey has always been one of my favorite things to imbibe. I'm a huge fan of Irish whiskey. I always have been. And not to say that I don't like Scottish whiskey. I do. I like Japanese, Scottish, American, Canadian. But I thought that we could put a unique stamp on whiskey from the local organic ingredients we use here in the west coast of Canada and British Columbia. Well, I think the variety, the beauty of handcrafted small batch distillery is that we can make whiskey out of literally any grain we want. We can do incredibly small batch, 300 bottles in a batch. It wouldn't surprise me if we end up with a dozen whiskeys or more, radically different in style, tributes to all fantastic whiskeys around the world. And I'm sure we'll develop a unique flavor profile of Canadian whiskey here in British Columbia.
I think I'm going to add on to that. So Ray, who's our head distiller, and ourselves, we take pride in what we do, and that starts from the grains that we select. We do only work with organic grains, but from the moment that they arrive, the handling, the process for each step of the process, so from the mashing to the fermentation, and of course to the distillation, but most importantly the distiller's cuts. We're very specific about that. And if it's not fitting our criteria, if by accident we turned our head when we're manually making the distiller's cuts, it's not good enough. So that particular base, that raw, young whiskey, is not actually going to make its way into barrel. We're going to redistill it. So we're very picky. We're finicky about the process, and we take pride in what we do. And we will not compromise in what goes into a barrel, and hopefully what will result 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 years later that will put a big smile on everybody's face.
Can you tell me where a man might find a bed?
That's a good question.
Well, you could say it'd be John A. Macdonald that founded the country, but he's extremely controversial at the moment, which is not necessarily a bad thing with whiskey. I think it would be, maybe rather than one version, a compilation of new and old. So maybe John A. Macdonald as a historical bedrock of the country, for better or worse. And then perhaps someone like Pauline Johnson, who is a native First Nations artist, native here to British Columbia, that had a very unique style. And if you've ever had the opportunity to see her work, is incredible. And she was buried in Stanley Park, which is arguably the heart of Vancouver.
And I think you might even add on to that. If we go through tradition and time and tested, you might even have a bit of Santa Claus in there. He's joyous, he's curious, he has a twinkle in his eye, and most importantly, he brings joy and happiness to everyone. So I think you could actually throw them all together.
It depends on the whiskey that's being consumed. Our trust, our sort of basic house whiskey, could be a lovely breakfast whiskey. It's incredibly smooth. It's got a fantastic length on the palate, and is so easy to enjoy that it really can be enjoyed any time of the day. Some of our other whiskeys, like our rye, which we're just releasing for Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, is more spicy, more intense, more robust, more characterful, and it's a whiskey that I wouldn't have till at least the afternoon, maybe as pre-dinner. And we have some tribute to bourbon coming out called Southern in Christmas time.
No, it's actually going to be early in the year.
Oh, early in the new year.
Early in the year.
And that's one that I would have after dinner. So the beauty of us is with the variety of whiskeys that we produce, there's sort of one for, I shouldn't say every hour of the day, but maybe hour of the waking day.
Not to say that he actually tastes all those times, but it's a descriptor too. And I would offer, Trust Single Grain, which is our first release, as Robert said, our house signature style. I would like to describe it or offer it's more of a feminine whiskey, not because it's intended for the feminine or female gender, but more because it's a little bit softer, it's long, you can take your time, it's wonderful to sit down and sip while you're reading a book and just take your time. You don't have to rush it.
Yeah.
Only one who's in the air with her.
I'm the wrong guy to ask for that.
Well, actually, it's a great question, and it's good timing because, in fact, we just put up on Facebook today in anticipation of our first Canadian rye release, which will be released for Canadian Thanksgiving, Trust Canadian Rye, and that actually took place today. And so probably safe to say there's going to be a few more tweets and a few more Facebook posts specific to our newest release.